Welcome to Inside the Webb, Student Life Unpacked, your go-to series for everything you need to know about student life at Gardner-Webb University. I'm Lesley, Villarose, Dean of Students, and I'm excited to walk alongside you as we explore the many services, resources, and opportunities designed to help you thrive on campus.
And I'm Brian Arnold, Assistant Dean of Students, here to help you make the most of your GW experience. Whether you're just getting started, transferring in, or returning for another great year, in each episode, we'll take a closer look at different aspects of student life, from housing and wellness to involvement in spiritual life, joined by special guests from across campus.
So whether you're tuning in from home, on the road, or already walking in the quad, this is your space to get informed, get connected, and get inspired. On this episode of Inside the Webb Student Life Unpacked, we are joined by our Vice President for Athletics, Brendan Fahey. So, Brendan, first of all, thank you for joining us. And we just want to start by you telling us a little bit about Division I sports here at Gardner-Webb. I know that we have a number of opportunities for our student athletes. So if you could just give us a quick overview to start with about the programs we offer, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you, Lesley and Brian. Thank you so much for having me today. It's great to be here and so excited about the future of Gardner-Webb Athletics. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You know, we're a Division I institution participating in the Big South Conference. And, you know, it provides great opportunities for our student athletes to, you know, compete against the best in the country and try to win conference championships and, you know, compete for, you know, to make the NCAA tournament. So we have a wide offering. You know, we offer sports from golf, up to, you know, football, basketball, lacrosse. Some new additions coming in are acrobatics and tumbling, as well as flag football. And what I would say is, you know, there's different ways to get involved with these teams. You know, certainly if you're recruited by our head coach, you know, joining the team and participating. But also our teams need help, you know, with managers and coming to practice and doing different things. So there's so many ways to get involved here as an athlete, whether participating on the team or joining in a support staff role, which can lead to great experiences and can also look good on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan, what are your thoughts? It's a nice Saturday afternoon in Boiling Springs in the fall, and it's a home football game. What should students and their families expect when they come into Boiling Springs for that first home game of the year, or maybe for family weekend or homecoming? What should be that expectation for them?
Sure. You know, I think all students and their families should expect an event, an experience. You know, the football game is certainly a big piece, but there's so many other events around it, whether it's tailgating before the game, it's events around Parents' Weekend or homecoming. There's always something going on campus. Our students are so supportive and they come out and they have a great time, you know, with their friends and supporting the Running Bulldog. So I would say you expect that Saturday to be a full day event, you know, with pregame fellowship, exciting action on the field during the games, and great marketing and promotions during the game to keep you entertained.
Brendan, along that same line, what do you think in working with your student athletes? Because I think you have about 650 student athletes here at Gardner-Webb. What would you say it means to them to be out on that court or the wrestling mat or the soccer field or baseball diamond, softball diamond, wherever? What do you think it means to them as players or as coaches to look into the stands and see the students there?
Oh, it means everything. You know, these student athletes have worked so hard their entire lives, most of them playing their sport from when they were young children. And, you know, to get to this point, to be a Division I athlete shows how much they've worked for. And, you know, I talk about all the time with our coaches, the difference between winning and losing is sometimes inches. And when we're at home in our basketball arena or our football stadium or in our pool, and we have our friends, our family, our faculty, our staff just cheering and making noise and supporting us, that can give us the extra push. You know, it means everything when we're tired in the fourth quarter and maybe facing some adversity to know that we're not alone. You know, Gardner-Webb is One Webb and we're all a family, you know, so I think to have our family in the stands supporting us, it means so much and it really can make the difference. And, you know, for me, my first fall here, those football games, the student involvement made such a big difference for us to win some of those close games at home.
Brendan, that is so important. And so just thinking about, as Brian said, we do have a large portion of our students that are student athletes. From your seat as the athletic director, can you talk to us about what your expectations are for Division I athletes, and really specifically, what is your expectation for Gardner-Webb student athletes?
Absolutely. I'm huge on the student athlete experience. Every meeting that I have with coaches and every resource decision that we make, we factor in the student athlete experience. How can we enhance it? How can we give them the best experience that they can? Because they're working so hard to represent our university. And with that, we do have high expectations for our student athletes. We want them to obviously show great sportsmanship on the field, represent the school colors well when they're on the road, and also be great citizens on campus, do well academically. We want to win that Big South championship, but ultimately making sure our student athletes are doing well in the classroom and graduating means so much to us. So I hold our coaches to a high standard to ensure that student athlete experience is as positive as it can be. But we also hold our students to that same standard. It's an honor and a privilege to wear the Running Bulldogs uniform, and making sure that we're doing things the right way in competition and in the classroom.
I agree. And I think that's so important. And just to kind of follow up with that, I mean, obviously in today's college landscape, there are so many choices, and not just for student athletes, for all of our students. And so what sets us apart, and what would help a student make that choice to say, I'm coming, I want to be a Running Bulldog?
I think for us, we're a Division I institution, but we also know that student athlete means so much. We're going to provide great opportunities, and you're going to get what's associated with being a Division I athlete. But it's really important to our coaches and to myself that we graduate and we go on and are prepared to make a living and have a career in our desired field. That means so much to us. So I think when you look at Gardner-Webb University, we care. Our coaches care, our administration cares, our support staff cares, and we're going to make sure that you have a good experience on the field, but you're going to do the right thing in the classroom and be set up for success once you graduate and go start your careers. That means so much to everyone involved with our athletic department.
Now, Brendan, the people that care greatly, whether it's faculty, staff, students, alumni, there's got to be some ways for them to get involved once you're out of here. What, for that avid fan that just loves supporting Gardner-Webb and specifically Gardner-Webb Athletics, what kind of outlets are available to them to continue to give back so that way our students can continue to have great experiences?
Absolutely. We just recently had Double Dog Day, which was a huge, huge success for our athletic department. And it's going to provide the resources to really enhance things moving forward. And, my message there was that the amount of the gift certainly means a lot, but it wasn't the only thing that mattered, just so we can keep in touch with you, so we can, update you on things that our students are doing, that our teams are doing is so big. But the other thing I'll say is we're very open. Being a small school, the athletic director is accessible. The coaches are accessible. So I would implore any alumni or fans that are out there that want to learn more about our program and get more involved, please reach out to me directly, reach out to the coach, because, that's a positive of the small school, is that you'll have access to us and we can do that. But yeah, certainly with Double Dog Day, the financial implications were huge, but just hearing that support, the total number of gifts meant so much to myself, as well as our student athletes.
Now, I know some universities and colleges, high schools have great booster programs. What does that look like here at Gardner-Webb?
Oh, it's so, so important to us. Ultimately with our teams, the fundraising aspect does play a key role to ensure that we can provide a high class experience and, improve our facilities, do some extra enhancements. So, the support of our alumni is very important. The Booster Club support is critical. And, that comes from parents, that comes from fans, that comes from the community, and it comes from alumni. Really we're all in it together. It's not just one athletic director or one coach or one team. It's this entire Running Bulldogs family and community, which I've noticed from the first day I stepped foot on campus is so strong and so powerful. And just to answer your question in a short way, it means the world.
Yeah.
Brendan, you talked earlier about the student athlete experience. And so when we talk about our student athletes, we always say student first, because again, that is why they are here. We want them to get their degree and become lifelong learners. But talk to me about how you help support our student athletes, specifically thinking about a Division I athlete. I mean, thinking about the time commitment, practices, lifting, games, whatever sport you're playing. How would you help support or mentor a student that is saying, I want to do this, but I'm really concerned about how I'm going to manage my time? Because, I mean, that can be very overwhelming.
Absolutely. That's a great question, Lesley. And, the answer is communication, number one. And number two, understanding that every situation is different. So there's not one path. There's not one template that says, here's how we're going to treat every student athlete and every experience. So to me, I think it's communication with the coaches first, which is our mantra, our message, in that, student athlete first, and that we want to make sure that our students have the ability to be successful in the classroom. So if that means leaving practice early or coming late or maybe a day where they have to prepare for a test, that's something that we talk about. And then I think with the students, I think it's so important to be transparent. And understand that everyone's got a different situation, and coming up with a plan that will be tailored to them and work to them. And again, being that small Division I gives us that opportunity to really do that. But communication is so important, and strategic planning is so important. We're going to use the summer to really do some work and plan for the upcoming year to make sure that we can provide the best experience that we can.
Great.
Brendan, one last question that I have for you is, maybe not all of our students are into sports, didn't grow up playing sports. Maybe they don't know anything about sports. It's just not been important to them. How would you encourage them? Like, why is it important for them to come out? What can they take away? Maybe they don't know what's going on the field, but why is it still important for them to be there? And why would you encourage them to be there?
Great question, Brian. And to me, I would implore everybody, if you haven't been to an athletic event yet, come to one. Just come check it out, because it is so much more than just watching a basketball game or watching a lacrosse game. You're going to have fellowship. You're going to see someone that maybe you saw in class and you haven't seen on campus before. It's a meeting place for students to come together. And then really, I think it's just a sense of, pride for your institution. At the end of the day, you're going to be in the stands with fans, alumni, parents, other students. And it's okay to not be necessarily interested in the game, but you're going to come together in hopes that we can be victorious and that we can be successful for our university. And that would be my message. If you haven't been to a game, come to one and check it out. You'll realize that at the timeouts, there's promotions and contests and ways to get involved. But really just the fellowship and the camaraderie with your fellow students and really just pride for your university. I think it's important to note that you don't need to be a huge sports fan to come to the games and have a good time.
Great. Well, I certainly know that. I love coming to our games and I never know what's going on. So that's okay. I ask a lot of questions. Well, Brendan, one final question that we're asking all of our guests on our show. We all know how special Gardner-Webb is, and it is special to us for different reasons.
Two reasons here. One, just the way the community and the campus has welcomed my family, relocating down here with two young children, an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old, and just how it felt like we've lived here for 25 years and we've only been here a few months. So for me, family is so important to me. And just the way that everybody welcomed myself and them as part of the community right away was unbelievable. And then from the university perspective, I think it's the alignment. I'm so fortunate to work with a group of faculty that are so supportive and they want to help and they give great feedback. And our senior leadership team, the conversations and the work that we can do together, we're aligned, we're all together. And it starts at the top with our president. He spoke about at the beginning of the year, One Webb, and I had heard about it on my interview process. But when I got here, I could see that there's no silos here. We're all aligned aligned as One Webb with ultimately the goals that our students are successful, whether that's on the field, it's in the classroom, it's at internships, it's at future jobs. But that right now, and I've been at different institutions, sets Gardner-Webb apart by far from everyone else, is just the alignment and really the fact that we care about every single student on this campus. And it's not just the administration, it's everyone from the support staff to the faculty to really everyone on campus.
Well said. Well said. Thank you. Well, thank you, Brendan, for joining us on this episode. And more importantly, thank you for the work that you do in championing our student athletes and for working with our students and our coaches. And thank you all for joining us on this episode of Inside the Webb Student Life Unpacked. We hope you join us next time.